welcome to the Three Technoteers. I'm Steven, and I'm joined by Tony and Chilton. And your access to AI models is possibly at risk, especially the more advanced ones that are starting to come out. Like, it was, uh, dang it, you just said it
Anthropic.
too. Anthropic's Fable, right? The Fable
Yeah, Fable
5.
5. Fable number 5. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have some stuff on this. I'll just tell you. I was using it at the time. I was making a video on the differences between it and 4.8. And I have some theories on that. And then but the first thing I noticed was that I had made a reference to a joke that a friend of mine had posted. It was a genetics joke. And I thought, oh, this is a kind of a cool joke. Maybe what if I did this other, and I had this other idea for a joke, and I asked it, help me out, right, com, com, to double check my work on the genetics part of the joke, and it said no, it cannot help me with anything genetics related, and I thought that was really weird because it's done this for me before, and it's like, why are you that worried about that, So maybe
And
it
you
is
tried it
actually.
in like multiple new conversations, like it wasn't just like a glitch with that one conversation.
Yeah, I actually tried it 3 more times because I thought it was an accident.
Yeah.
I thought it just
I've
took it.
had stuff like that happen to me before, like where I'm just like, find movie show times, and it's like I can't help with that.
Right, right.
What?
Yeah, so I reworded my question over and over, and every time it was like, no, can't help you with it. That's genetics. So I thought that was kind of interesting. 4.8 could help me with the same problem, not to a large degree. It also eventually kind of crapped out and said, this is getting too far, too close into what I'm not supposed to talk to you about. So that's always weird when there's like a deliberate guardrail somewhere, and then you're kind of like, what's on the other side of that?
Yeah.
Like I didn't know this was dangerous territory. So that's a weird thing.
Did you
Um,
try other AI models asking the same stuff?
yeah, I haven't tried it with ChatGPT or Gemini. I need to do that just to round that
Yeah,
out. I'll
yeah.
do that
See
and
see
report
if you
back at the
can
next one.
access the secret knowledge of
Yeah,
the
yeah, absolutely. Um,
the
the other thing
Illuminati's
was,
secret
so I had
knowledge.
it. There's an intersection here in town that's absolute garbage, in my opinion. It's a new diamond interchange that they think is supposed to be more efficient. And I think it's more efficient because they cut out two entire lanes of traffic and just forced everyone to do something weird. The only reason there haven't been wrecks yet, I say this over and over, is because everyone drives through it super paranoid because no one's sure how it's supposed to work. So I thought I would make a traffic simulation. This is an easy enough thing. There are a lot of ways to simulate traffic with computers. So I asked Fable 5 to build this simulation for me. And at first, I started really simple, and the result was it got a bunch of stuff wrong, really wrong. Like the roads were upside down, the cars were sideways, all kinds of stuff was just wrong. And it's like to me that was unacceptably bad. So I worked through all of the little details with it until we had a finished product that kind of worked. And then I thought, because everyone's talking about how great it was at one shot things, I thought, well, what if it's just that my prompt was bad? So I had it write this whole new prompt to try it again. The second time through, it did. The prompt was actually really good and really thorough, and the result was a fairly close to correct version of what I wanted on the first try. I was pretty impressed. But then I tried that same prompt in 4.8 and I got the same result. It basically was no real difference. It was just the prompt was better. And then, so I wonder if, part of the Fable thing was that Fable was just initially generating a better prompt for what I was asking and then giving itself that prompt back
I
because that
could
would
see
have the
that.
same effect.
I mean, it makes a big difference. Like that's I actually added that to Function Former, the software I made that creates Python scripts automatically, and basically it takes your prompt and then asks you a bunch of questions, like 10, 15 questions or whatever, about like what you're wanting it to make software up for, and then it takes all that information and rewrites your prompt and includes all the extra information and stuff, and the questions that it asks, it comes up with those questions on its own based on whatever your prompt is as well. So this new prompt that it creates is like super specialized, like specifically for this task, and it makes a big difference.
Good. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's the the other thing was they when the government shut it down, according to the website, and we can show the web page for this. But the website on Anthropic, the page on it, says that they shut it down because they basically alerted them to someone essentially jailbreaking it. But Anthropic claims that they didn't have any real evidence of this. And one of the things that they had changed for Fable and Mythos was a change in the terms of service that they say cost them some users, but may be worth it in this case. And that is that they retain all of your data for 30 days so that in the event someone does jailbreak it, they can go see exactly what was used. I mean, there are a lot of other ways you could interpret this. You could say, oh, well, they're just snooping on us now. But I mean, you're paying for a service on their server, you're uploading it. I am surprised anyone believes that the people doing that aren't,
Oh yeah,
snooping on them, right?
yeah.
Because that would make sense. So anyway, yeah,
I mean,
the thing is right now,
they want to know if you're organizing a terrorist
right?
operation on their
They,
servers. You know.
yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. Yeah, yeah. So, Anthropic says, they swear that they don't have any record of this jailbreak. They're going to look into it and they'll have it back online soon. Um, a lot, it's also easy to look at this and think, well, is the government just messing with Anthropic? They didn't do this to ChatGPT. I don't know.
Oh
But this
yeah,
is pretty,
and they do probably have it out for Anthropic right now too, because of
yeah,
what happened a couple months back,
yeah.
where
But this is
Anthropic
pretty
was
good
like,
advertising
"Nah."
for,
Yeah.
I was going to say, this is pretty good advertising for Anthropic, telling someone you can have this. Oh no, you can't have it. It's too powerful. The government says it's too powerful. When that comes back online,
Oh well, you
everyone
can't
and their
trust the
dog is going to be
government though.
playing with it. Yeah.
Yeah, the government says it's powerful. It's probably the crappiest thing ever.
Yep.
Man, it is definitely time for people to start running their own AIs. Because I mean, dude, it's more than easy enough to do it, for one, and then like the I mean, you could get cheapo Chinese graphics cards off Timu and Alibaba and stuff and like run hella AIs all day long. So it's like that it's not really like an issue as far as the hardware and stuff anymore either. So I think it's mostly just like people don't trust that these local models can do what they need them to do. But I have a solution for that, and it's all the software that I'm continuously coming out with that lets AI do stuff, and it's all open source, how it should be with this kind
Awesome.
of stuff. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I think
something else to add to that too is like if they're able to, start running whatever AI software that you want to run, with NVIDIA's promotion trying to push
oh
at-home
yeah,
data centers. So that's something else that, people can look into. But what I was just doing some research on was that, these at-home data centers actually don't necessarily pay you cash, but like it just pays your bills for you. So yes, in a way it does, but they're talking like anywhere from having like tax write-offs to paying your utilities and stuff like that. So realistically, that's
Hmm.
something else that you can look at doing for some kind of grid deal. And it makes me wonder too, like what happens if you're like, you kind of live out in the middle of nowhere and you run your house on solar panels and everything else, and then turn
yeah, and then
around
you
and you're
don't
trying to
get the
run this data
benefits of
center.
it. Yeah,
Yeah, so you just run a data center for free.
yeah,
I would imagine you get something
I,
back, right? Like
yeah.
some kind of major tax or something like that.
I mean, it seems like that would be a killer market for just like little micro data centers you run at home and you just make a little bit of money from it, like, dude, that seems like that would be huge.
Right. Yeah. That's the way I was looking at it. I'd be interested in doing it.
Yeah,
You know,
I
I
would
live in
do that,
a
yeah.
rural Right. I live in a rural town where, like right now, these major data centers, people are talking about, like, I just seen it today where in Davenport, Iowa, they're putting in a, Facebook data center right off the interstate. And people are complaining about that. And then, I haven't really dove into, I wouldn't want to call it conspiracy wise, but like what they're destroying by putting these data centers up, which, I get it, the power grid and stuff like that, but like they're saying water cooled everything else. So, your water is going to go down as in quality and stuff like that. So I'm a little curious on that.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm
But
on
putting these little
well
data
water.
centers in our towns, man, I mean, that you're looking at like why do it instead of doing it at home for individuals, run it with these schools. So you're like force the hand on, making schools more comfortable instead of, hot as hell or, cold as hell. And now you can backfeed off of, heat in the wintertime. You can backfeed off of that stuff or force it to where it has to be chilled and cooled. And now these schools are getting it. And then that's a major tax write-off for schools.
That's
I mean, hell,
actually
that's like the most
a good
real
idea.
estate
Heating
ever.
schools with data center
Yeah,
hardware.
that's what I would
Yeah.
do, you know?
Hey, but I like the data centers in space idea. Like that seems
Oh,
to me
yeah,
that
that would,
seems like the ultimate way because then they're not in the way. They're just
yeah,
way out there and like you just beam the data back and forth.
yep,
Done. And they're
you know?
they're solar powered too, so it's like there is no grid
Yeah,
issues or anything, and no kind of pollution because it's out in space. Eventually, they could literally be building them in space too. Once we like start mining asteroids and stuff like that,
right.
like yeah. No, obviously, like that's not going to be a tomorrow thing, but I feel
Yeah,
like if they focused on it, it could really be a thing fairly quickly. I think Elon's even focusing on the data centers in
that,
space thing, so it seems
yeah.
like it's something that could happen fairly quickly.
Sure. I mean, that's somebody that would definitely hardcore benefit from that because then even if you made it like a halfway point between here and Mars or halfway point between here and the moon and you put your stations up there and you can use it as a transfer station, receive data both ways. Especially now, like too, that they're doing the data transfers through lasers, which, fiber optics is pretty much that now,
Yeah,
but the no structural, just laser beam back and forth. And I think they recently just did that, broke it. Was it do a quick search here on that. So it's on Earth, an experiment for the data was 1.8 petabits per second, which is insane.
jeez.
But
Yeah, you,
airborne, so
you could definitely be
airborne,
running a data center through that.
right, an airborne laser on Earth, just like building to building kind of deal was 200 gigabits per second in broad daylight. So you're talking filtering out UVs and all the other light waves we don't see, and then turn around and like being able to descript that through laser beams, you know.
Yeah.
And ironically too, not to change subjects from data like that, but I can't remember what company it was. I want to say it was Toshiba. They were one of the first to do wireless audio and they had a box where you have to align for a 5.1 surround sound, and it was laser beams. You had to align them perfectly, and it would laser beam them out.
Oh, that's
So
cool. When was that? Recently or
that no, it was a while ago. Let me see here.
hell yeah, garage door speakers.
Right. Let's see. Holosonics wave system. Let's see here. What year? Doo-doo. Oh, okay. Motion Industries in the late 70s.
Jesus. Okay.
Vintage Home Audio, a Canadian company, My Time Industries, or Laser Audio Inc., manufactured a line of vintage speakers called the Laser L8. Like it's
That's
this old tech that's that, oh, it's laser beams, they'll never take off. It's all about the hardwire. And here we are, just doing signals and stuff, which, that's the other thing too, is like nobody really we know about, but nobody is like really dove into it. So everyone's like the 5G deal and all that stuff, and then like all the Wi-Fi signals and radio signals and all that stuff, rather than a controlled laser, a light,
Yeah.
a controlled light being emitted and being able to send data like that. And I know Japan, and I've heard stories like back and forth when they've done it, but like Japan and then NASA was like launching, data speeds, laser beams to the moon and back. And it's just like instantaneous almost. And I think that's something that'd be really cool to see. That's just going to be the future. It takes too long for radio signals when now we can just do data transfer for laser beams, light. So,
Yeah, I mean they're gonna have to have something for the. I think the space data centers will be like the what it ends up being, and
yeah.
they'll need something for that. Lasers seem like it'd be the ideal option. Like you wouldn't be able to hack them or anything either because it'd be instantly to it. Like you'd have to
Yeah.
literally be like flying over it to like catch the signal or something.
Another thought too is why don't we just buy these abandoned oil rigs and turn them into large data centers and have them liquid cooled from the ocean?
And you could literally
Oh,
power
offshore.
them from the ocean with
Yeah,
like the
offshore.
waves and
Yeah.
stuff too.
Yeah,
So
and then have those the wave generators and have that power that too,
yeah. Hmm.
you know.
Well, hey, that's a great company idea. Let's start it.
Let's start it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Take a couple oil rig stations from the Gulf.
Start with one.
Let's
They're
talk to
probably
Elon because he
expensive.
already owns a few. He
Yeah.
owns a few already because he was
And he
making those. So
wants to
let's
get
just
rid
like,
of
hey,
them.
let's turn these to data centers.
Yeah. Man, that is a good idea. Jesus.
There's going to be someone who's going to go broker a deal between the an oil rig and a data center place and make a ton of money and just retire, and that'll be the one thing they did.
Yeah. For sure. I think
They'll
that would
All
probably
be
be
right.
someone
really
Well, I'll
listening
cool.
to
see
this
y'all later.
podcast. Yep.
Yeah, no kidding. I think that would just be really cool. I mean, because then,
Yeah.
if you did everything that we always that you hear about for, generating power, whether it be solar, but then what is it? You've got the high winds where it's like 10,000 feet or something in the air, and it's got the propeller generator that's up there. It's helium driven, so it floats up in this huge rig, and then the wind, because you always have a constant wind, right? As soon as like I don't know if you guys have ever been high up in the air, but even at 65 feet, 75 feet in the air, there is a constant breeze. It's never just like a dead air. And so it's like you don't really realize it when you're down on the surface. And so like in the mining industry for me when I was as a electrician, maintenance electrician, so going up that high 75 feet or whatever, it's a constant breeze up there. So the higher you go, the more it's going to be. And so it's like one of those things where if you have a couple of those floating out there, plus having the wave generators kind of doing their thing out there too, you're going to have constant power no matter
Yeah.
what. And then
And then
the
plus
ocean is
solar,
cold.
obviously, too.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, whatever you can bank on that could just be the solar stuff could literally just be, you know, s- uh, you can mount that anywhere. And then you
Yeah.
can actually backfeed. There are these chips that when they get hot, they turn cold. So like one side's hot and the other side's cold, right?
Oh, and it
But when
generates
you
electricity.
and it generates
Yeah.
electricity. Yeah. So then you could take your heat from, the data center here, take the heat from the data center, transfer into make it its own electricity, but then have that just be docked electricity, have its own circuit and everything,
Yeah.
and then a
Yeah.
transformer from DC to AC, even up to 480 if you have to, just for, welding rigs and stuff like that. I mean, you're talking, and then just have it backfeed off of that. You can have power or minimum just lights for nighttime, even.
I'm gonna be honest. This seems like something we should do. Like, Let's
So
Yeah.
I've got a
I
get
mean,
few.
a
like,
boat and just go anchor it out there and try it with that at
yeah,
least.
I am decapitated. I am decapitated, and just abort it.
You have a Raspberry Pi attached to a little pontoon floating up and down.
Yeah.
Look,
Like,
so
it
I've got a
works. It's
I've got a
working.
friend that had an idea for something a while ago on the wind side. I thought was pretty clever. I haven't heard anyone bring this up before. I'm going to say his first name is Mark in case this ever comes up, so I can refer back to this that he, you know. But his idea was you have you buy a bunch of land, and then on the land you have these giant sheets, and I don't know what they would be made of. Maybe they're fabric, maybe they're wood, metal, doesn't matter. That are painted black on one side and either white or reflective on the other, and they're all on things that you can spin. So you coat the ground with these things for as much land as you can buy, and then you flip them so they're all one color. And in theory, the combined heat from them all being black and then flipping it to white would change the air pressure and temperature of the air, and that would change the air pressure and change the air flow.
Huh.
And so
Yeah.
his what he was wondering was how much land would you need to flip the color on in order to make wind go across it or to create some kind of buffer against weather phenomenon? And I don't know, but it was a weird
Hmm.
question, and I
I
really
mean, I
don't have
guess
an answer.
to create wind, you'd have to also like flip them in sets too,
Yeah,
to like
yeah,
create
yeah.
the movement.
Sure, absolutely.
Huh, that's
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
mean, because then with temperature change, you would get thrust, you would get, with that the heat, obviously with heat rising,
Yeah, yeah.
uh,
That would
there
push
was a
stuff.
demonstration that I saw where that it was all heat and they had a constant wind from something. And it was like, yeah, these things are just hot and they're pushing off that heat and expelling it out and going up. So,
Yep. Yeah, interesting idea.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know. That would be really cool. That'd be
That's
something else to
super weird. Huh.
add to that. That'd be pretty cool.
Have y'all seen those the little things the black and white reminded me there are these little propeller looking things in a vacuum and they're able to spin just because the sunlight like one side's white and one side's black or whatever
Sure.
and
Yeah,
then the
yeah,
photons hit it or something and it's able to
yeah.
spin
Oh
or
yeah, yeah,
something like
yeah.
that. Yeah,
There's
it's pretty wild.
even before solar cells, I think those existed. Those were those were cool. It's like a little light bulb, and inside it would have
Yeah.
painted things that would spin. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. I think it's like not enough, like you can't generate enough torque with them or something to actually spin a generator with it.
Yeah,
But it's still
it's
neat,
enough to move. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But hey guys, we are running out of time. So,
Okay.
yeah.
All
Been a
right.
great meeting, guys.
Oh
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah. So, I just talk to y'all next weekend and
Sounds good.
thanks for being here everyone else.
Thank you.
Uh yeah. Talk to you next time.
Awesome.